Got Lee and then this gentleman on the front, and then we go to Dustin. Go ahead over here, Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Tony, how much have they improved the air purification systems in the car, particularly at a place like Martinsville? I know you've been hit, a couple of times by really bad episodes, and that they, since then they've taken a lot of precautions. Can you kind of, talk about what your team's done?
I think it's more what NASCAR's done to help out, but it seems like everybody's kind of worked together on making it a better air package. It's a lot better than it used to be. I mean, in the last, I would say, 2 years in particular, I mean, it's quite a bit and significantly different and a lot better. At the end of the race, you feel a lot better. NASCAR will come down and take readings with the drivers after the race, and I think it's been cut in half in the last couple of years from what we saw 2, 3, 4 years ago. So they've definitely made huge gains in that area, and that definitely is better for us down the road.
We'll go here, this gentleman, Dustin, and then Hank Kurtz. Go ahead, right here.
David Grimes, Valley Sports Now. Tony, tell me what Darian Grove has meant to this team.
He's the backbone of it. I mean, we couldn't do any of it without him. He was such a huge part of when we hired him a year and a half ago, of really getting the ball rolling and getting the process started of getting the right people hired in the right positions. And he had to do a lot of work that was above and beyond a crew chief's job to get everything going. So there's absolutely no way that we would be where we are with this organization without him right now.
Go Dustin and then back to Hank. Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Tony, how do you describe what it is like in a green-white checker situation? You picked up a dozen spots at Atlanta earlier this year. Here in the fall, you picked up a spot. How challenging is it, and I guess how does it stand out more so than other laps or even toward the end of the race?
Well, you know that every corner counts in that green-white checkered. You got 4 chances to get through a corner better than somebody else, and you know that you have to make that count. And a lot of it is, a lot of the circumstances of how many cars you get by are the tire strategies. I mean, we had the luxury at Atlanta. We had just got back on the lead lap there, and we're able to get tires, and that gave us the opportunity to get by those guys. But it's controlled chaos because everybody's trying to get that one last spot, and they know they got 2 laps to do it in, and everybody's bunched together when it happens. So it's a pretty wild 2 laps, and you're normally glad when it's over. I think a situation like Atlanta where it's so wide and the tires are so different. I think that makes a bigger difference than it does here. It seems like it takes 3 or 4 laps for things to kind of sort out here, so it's really hard to get 2 lines. You're not going to run 3 wide here anyway, so start and double file. A lot of times it's going to stay that way, and whichever line kind of gets going, you might get a spot because of that. But it's hard to make up a bunch of spots here. I mean, you could come in, guys could have 100 laps on their tires, and if there's 10 of them in front of you in a green-white checkered, and you have 4 brand new tires, and you're the fastest car all day, you're not going to get back by 10 cars in the last 2 laps.
Hank, you're in the middle. Go ahead.
Tony, it seems like in the past in NASCAR, when a guy dominates, after a while people get tired of it and they start booing him like crazy. Jeff Gordon's experienced that quite a bit. Rusty Wallace way back when did. Do you have a theory on why Jimmy Johnson doesn't seem to attract that kind of animosity from the fans?
Because he doesn't do anything on the racetrack that makes him mad other than win. I mean, he's the kind of guy that it's hard to not like Jimmy. I mean, he's personable. I mean, I get along with him great. I mean, every time I won a race last year, he was one of the first people to send me a text message congratulating me. And I think that shows Jimmy's personality and character, and he's just not one of those guys that goes out there and gets into guys and gets into trouble with guys on the racetrack that creates some of that animosity that the fans have sometimes.
Go ahead, right over here to the right.
Craig Thomas, WXI. Tony, a lot of the guys say with the change to the back of the car, they just think it looks more like a good old race car. What's your take on it?
Looks like a car with a spoiler on it to me. I mean, it doesn't really, we're worried about making them go fast. I'm not entering it in a car show for appearance, so it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to make it handle good.
Got a question back in the back. Raise your hand.
Sorry, I just never thought about that. I don't think about that stuff.
Bob Hawk, Racine Daily. So with the spoiler on it, I know we weren't supposed to see much of a difference here at Martinsville, but did you feel any difference here at Martinsville in the first practice?
No. No, we didn't notice any difference. You're running about 80 mile an hour here. You're not going to really feel a difference.
Anybody else have a question? All right, go ahead.
Tony, Ned Thigpen, Win Sports. I want to ask you, every driver has obviously a different track that they like. Can you share with us what you like about Martinsville racing here?
It's still that old short track feel. That's what I like. I mean, we run a lot of 1.5 mile tracks during the year, and this is the only place that races like this. It's the only, we got 2 half-mile tracks that we race on. This one's quite a bit different than where we raced last week, and that's what makes it fun here. I mean, you can outbreak guys, you can run the outside if you get a shot, but it's racing the way we all grew up racing.
Anybody else? Okay, Tony, thanks for coming in, and good luck this weekend. We appreciate it.